The proposed deduction as it stands will not have any benefit to the employees and instead will burden their purchasing power, which is already adversely affected by the inflation. The government recently must ensure that the intended deduction through the parliament and the parliamentarians must ensure that this bill does not pass. Recently, the government imposed 7.5% deduction on the employee salaries, which is supposed to go to the pension scheme. House rent was increased by 10% by the government to the employees who are occupied in government houses. Nhif deduction has been increased. Pay as you want is there waiting for us. Now, all this deduction when taken from our salaries will leave us with nothing completely. Our advice to the Parliament of Kenya, you are there to serve the people, not to serve yourself. Please consider the employees in the public sector who are already burdened, and you fast track. We want increase of salaries to employees by the government. And the Parliament should ensure that the SRC, which is doing nothing to us, is removed completely.
Oh, you can put with us,
Thank you.
Maybe a question to you.
Wait.
When they are bringing those taxes, are they adding salary? Even in the recent Labor Day, did you hear anywhere where they increased somebody's salaries? Now they come with the taxes. What are those taxes going to assist us? NHIF is not even working. You go with a patient to hospital, the patient is sent away that there is no money, or maybe your government has not remitted. Is it even my problem? Because on my pay slip I've already paid. It is the duty of the NHIF to follow up governments that are not paying. We have houses, even if they are grass-thatched houses. Those are our houses. We do not need government houses. We do not need anybody to purchase houses for us. 50 years to come, will even my grandson or daughter benefit from those houses? We refuse to be imposed to taxes that are not helpful to us. Tutabeba matawi, tutatoa hata nguo, because this is just too much. They are increasing the prices of food. They don't even add salary. Now again they deduct our salaries. How? From where? How? Tumechoka sana na tumechoka. Watu wache tu na ile mshahara yetu yenye tuko nayo, hawataki hata kuimprove. We thought we were going somewhere. Mshahara yetu tunatoa jasho. Tuko na watoto wa kulisha, tuko na watoto wa kusomesha. As we speak now, the schools are opening. We don't even have money for school fees. And somebody is ready with a pen to deduct my 3% at the housing. Housing for what? I have a house that I live in, hata kama ni ya mabox. That is my house. And I do not need any government to purchase or organize a house for me. Or for us workers. I'm talking on behalf of my colleagues, the workers. We refuse that, and we shall refuse, and we shall keep on refusing. We have brains to purchase our own houses. We have brains to do whatever we want with our money. We don't need somebody to organize our money for us.
The proposed deduction as it stands will not have any benefit to the employees and instead will burden their purchasing power, which is already adversely affected by the inflation. The government recently must ensure that the intended deduction through the parliament and the parliamentarians must ensure that this bill does not pass. Recently, the government imposed 7.5% deduction on the employee salaries, which is supposed to go to the pension scheme. House rent was increased by 10% by the government to the employees who are occupied in government houses. NHIF deduction has been increased. Pay as you want is there waiting for us. Now, all this deduction when taken from our salaries will leave us with nothing completely. Our advice to the Parliament of Kenya, You are there to serve the people, not to serve yourself. Please consider the employees in the public sector who are already burdened, and you fast track. We want increase of salaries to employees by the government. And the parliament should ensure that the SRC, which is doing nothing to us, is removed completely. Bernard Otieno, Union of Kenya Civil Servant, Kakamega branch.
That the government should stop, should not try, should not attempt to raid our pay slips and our salary, which is already poor. The public servants are already struggling with life, which is at a high cost, which is unbearable for them. And therefore, touching our pay slips in the name of taxation again is unaccepted, totally rejected by all the workers of this nation through their voices, which are the unions. We want to tell the government of the day, you promised to make life easier for us, but we are seeing you've turned against us. You want us to have only two classes of people in this country, the poor and the rich. You are the rich and you want to make us poor and kill the middle class by overtaxation. We say no to NHIF increased taxation. We say no to housing taxation. We are already struggling to pay mortgages for our houses, to build our houses in lands that we have toiled to buy. Who told the government that a public servant who is remaining with 2 years, 3 years in service is going to benefit or has anything to benefit by contributing to the housing levy? Who told the government that we are happy with the NHIF contribution, which is not checked, not well managed, not well governed? We want to tell the government that enough is enough. If you terrorize our pay slips and our salaries, which are already crippling and bleeding in ICU, we are going to face you with the grandmother and the grandfather of all the strikes combined together. We are going to come to Harambee House, to the parliament, and every other offices. We shall sing day and night, sleeping at your doors until you stop these taxations. The public servants already have enough problems caused by the government who is to take care of them. And therefore, stop. Don't bring it to us. Punda amechoka, usiendelee kuguza matako ya punda. Utaona chamchamakuni. Wachana na sisi, wachana na slips zetu, wachana na salary yetu. Tutaleta hiyo vita na itakuwa vita yenye amutaelewa. So don't attempt, don't intend, don't plan to terrorize our pay slips and our salaries.
Sometimes I don't understand whether the president I have is the one I used to sit with when he was the vice president, deputy president. I don't understand whether the current president, Honorable William Samoei Ruto, is the one we used to sit in Karen and we discuss how the country should move forward, how the Uhuru administration has messed up the country. I do not believe it is the same William Samoei Ruto who I was sitting with when he was the deputy president. He has changed dramatically. He has become somebody else I don't even understand myself. I, in fact, don't believe I looked for votes for William Ruto. Because he is no longer the person I thought is going to be. I wanted a president who is caring. I wanted a president who is listening. I wanted a president who will put health workers and all workers in Kenya all workers on the table and ask them, what problem do you have as Kenyan workers? How can we move this country forward together as Kenyans? But the president we have today is the one who is coming to make pronunciations. I'm going to increase NHIF 2.7% for the employer and the employee. I'm going to increase 6% NHIF for the employer, for the employee. And yet in the public sector today, all public servants are covered in one pension scheme or the other. We have lab trust, we have lab fund, we have public servant superannuation scheme where the civil servants belong. Why do you want to bring again 6% on top of this? NHIF is an act that establishes a pension scheme. Lab fund is established by an act of parliament. Public servant superannuation scheme is established by an act of parliament. We should have been conducted, and those NHIF should only apply to people who do not have a pension scheme. And others already have pension schemes. When you look at Nssf administrative structure, the administration of Nssf takes over 50% in administration. And that is where you are saying you want us to add them 12%, so that out of the 12%, 6% goes to administration. There is no pension scheme in the world that administrative costs should go above 2%. And Nssf is a DC scheme. It means workers must be represented 50%, employers 50%. We therefore, as public servants, as civil servants, reject. Mimi nataka kusema, we will paralyze the entire government.
Yes.
Yes. And we will paralyze from State House.
Yes.
We will close the water in State House.
Yes.
We will switch off electricity in State House.
Yes.
And then we will make sure nothing goes on in this country.
Yes.
As workers, we must be heard. Yeah. We can no longer sit down, celebrate when we are being overtaxed. There is no country in the world that has prospered by taxing its public servants to the grave. When you overtax employers, you are simply chasing away investors.
Yes.
How then do you expect to create jobs when you are chasing out employers? We have been taxed to the level of 56%, but you have already paid 30%. When you buy anything, you have paid VAT 16%. When you go and purchase your electricity, look at it today. Electricity is taxed at 61%. If the government has run out of ideas, the economic advisors are all gangrenians. They are not advising the president anymore. They have nothing to advise the president. If they only advise indeed, you can give the president this tax, tax, tax. Oh, you are not an economist. The responsibility that this government is giving us is now to defend what workers have.
Yes.
Yes.
And we will defend to the last drop of blood.
Yes.
Ama hamko tayari?
Tuko tayari.
Muko tayari?
Tuko tayari.
Muko tayari?
Tuko tayari.
Bas, kama serikali haijaona revolution na imekuwa ikiomba revolution ndio hii hapa. We'll bring it to their doorstep. Naambia wabunge, I'm telling you members of parliament, to not pass that bill, financial bill 2023. If you pass that bill, we will meet you on the ground. We will make sure you don't step in those constituencies. We will make life so difficult for you. Because hata nyinyi wenyewe hamuna pesa, you have been taxed already. Please, Parliament, the Senate, we are requesting you to not pass that draconian, archaic, I don't know even the language I can use. Do not pass that bill, Finance Bill 2023.
Yes.
We want a president who was you when you were the deputy. Because the one we have today is not you when you are the deputy. And I'm speaking without mincing my words. I'm a member of the National Executive Council of UDA. I'm the National Deputy Chair in charge of programs. That cannot stop me from doing my work. I'm employed by Kenyan workers to work for them, to defend them, and to fight for them.
Yes.
Si ni hivyo?
Yeah.
Si hao ndio wanalipa mimi mshahara?
Yeah.
Mimi silipi na chama. Mimi nalipo na wafanyakazi. Sasa my friend William, kama unataka vita ya wafanyakazi tuko tayari.